Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Justin and I'm here to talk about arcades. Now, before we get into the video, I want to kind of give you the format. So if you're new to my channel and you don't really know what's going on in here, this particular video is going to be about an auction that I went to yesterday. I'm going to be sharing my screen here and talking through some of the pictures of the arcades that were found in Des Moines, Iowa. And it's my intention in this video to explain the moral of this video is that home arcade and full-size arcades can coexist. That's my belief. I own both. I own about 10 of each, and I enjoy playing them both. Some are in my garage upstairs, the full-size arcades, because it's difficult to get the full-size arcades down into my basement. I'm a collector, I play video games as well, and I enjoy all of it. And what I found at this auction is I'm not alone. I met a ton of people at this auction that don't just own full-size arcades. They don't just own home arcade products. They own both. And I learned so much yesterday, and I want to share that with you. And I wanted to make sure that this part of the video was early on because I started thinking about the way this content could come across. And I was afraid there's going to be all these things in the comments. I think it all can coexist. That's my comment. If you go down there and be like, oh my god, I hate home arcade, I'm like, they can coexist. Oh my god, I hate the full-size purists, they can coexist. That's the moral, okay? All right, so let's get into it. So what I'm going to be doing is talking about some of the great deals that were available at this auction. Whether they were home arcade, whether they were full-size cabinets, there were great deals no matter what. And there was a ton of cabinets that I wanted to buy in both directions because the prices were so good. But I have to start with this. I meant to go full screen here. Why do we live in a world where an original Neo Geo 2-slot can sell cheaper than an Arcade1Up? What is going on? Because you're probably thinking, oh, Arcade1Up prices are going to be so much cheaper. That's not necessarily the case. It's crazy. And when I talk to the people at the arcade next time in March, I'm going to be interviewing them and have them on film. I did not get to do that. I thought about that later. To get their answers of why home arcade was priced the way it was. To get their answers of why the full-size arcades were priced the way they were was surprising. I want to meet these two people one day. I will in Sioux City. They're creating their own arcade, and they came in and bought all the best stuff here in Des Moines. Why? Because they got a grant to start a business, and they're opening a barcade. It's called the Warp Zone. I'm going to go there because they got some killer deals that we're going to showcase tonight, and it's going to be filled in their barcade, and I'm excited about that. And there's a ton of people that bought several home arcade products that are going to be very happy with the prices they got it at. So this is where the deals are at, guys, are at these auctions. 100%. And Stringer Films with the super chat, he says, what in the hell did you buy? All right, so a couple of people have been reaching out to me. What did I buy? We'll talk about that. The most important thing is let's talk about the stories from this auction. Really great stuff. So here we are. We got a Frogger machine. We got, these are not mine. What we're looking at are not mine, right? So we got a Frogger machine, and then we got a Street Fighter Big Blue, we got a Ms. Pac-Man, and we got a Burger Time. Then we get into some full-size arcades. They had a baby pack there, but it needed a lot of work. All right, then we got the Simpsons. Needed a little bit of work, but it did work. It did work. Another Turtles in Time. Again, cosmetically not perfect, but it's in working state. Needs a little bit of cleanup. This, I'm going to tell you right off. I'm going to start talking about some prices. How much do you think these big motorcycle machines go for? Because when we were there at the auction, people were surprised. It's like they couldn't fit it on their, they couldn't take it with them or something. It was too big. Okay, the one on the left was in basically perfect condition. Had a CRT in it. It looked really nice. $100. $100 is what it went for, okay? We got these machines here. I'd never played this one on the right skin game, but I played it. And if you see that joystick in the front, it's like you're playing golf and you pull it back, and when you let go, whew, it flies. Here's the thing, guys. People are dropping numbers of these prices. There are some things that went for a lot, and we'll talk about that, but a ton of things went for super cheap. Yeah, Bill's Retro Show, $100, no way. Yeah, that motorcycle thing. I had a U-Haul, but I couldn't fit in there. Okay, so there was a ton of cocktails. I killed it on a cocktail. We'll talk about that pretty soon. I sold my cocktail and got some pretty good money out of it. So here's these Arcade1up's again. So Mr. Do, that one went for like $325. Needed a little bit of work. Not bad for a Nintendo machine. This Tempest needs a ton of work. Went for $300. Lupin, and we're going to show these prices later. I have film of the actual price. Lupin, I think it was $175. My memory is a little fuzzy on these next machines, but these were like definitely project machines. Some of them were like, that was like $5. Like this machine that needs, you know, it's basically just an empty cabinet. I guess it maybe has a CRT in it, but who knows if it works. RoboCop, fantastic deal. $800 for this RoboCop. That was one of the ones I was eyeing that was like, ooh, RoboCop, how much will it go for? $800. So then we have this Neo Geo. I don't know the price of this particular Neo Geo. There were two there. We'll talk about the second one. This big Buck Hunter, a couple $100. If you wanted that big Buck Hunter, you're going home with just a couple $100. These eyes, Stringer Films, we're talking about the eyes. I can't remember the exact price. This little guy right here had a 16-1 in it. Actually went for more than $500. So here is my Galaga. The Galaga that I sold, that's modded. It went for super cheap. My Big Blue, I sold it $70 is what that Big Blue went for. But the other Big Blue went for much more. This cabinet right here, super cool. No, it's not super cool, but it's a cool, interesting story. And we're going to get into some deeper stories later. So it's like in a Dragon's Lair. Phase Craze, right? But they modded it to be like this Phase Craze machine with, I don't know, oh my God. Stringer Films was trying to get me to buy that one and then turn it back into a Dragon's Lair. Okay, I made a huge mistake on this machine. Huge mistake, and a ton of other people did. Okay, so before the auction, there was all these machines that were not connected, and some of us made assumptions that these were like broken machines, but this one actually worked. So check this out. This one worked. This turbo guy, it was bidding on, and people, it was so crowded, no one knew, no one saw, like it was actually working. So it only went up to $100. And then everyone looked at it afterwards. They're like, which one just sold? We're like, that one for $100. We're like, it's working? Yeah, it's working. We didn't even think it had a PCB in it, right? So this little Sega machine right here with the steering wheel on it, yeah, it's dirty, needs cleaned up, but it went for $100 and it had a working PCB in it. This is it. What type of a world do we live in where this Neo Geo 2-slot that actually works? It's just unplugged right now, but later it was totally working during the auction. It sold for $175. That's it. $175. Not 2 minutes later, Golden Tee right there, mine, Golden Tee XL. Now, those in the chat, I know you know this. I know you know that I paid $699 for the Golden Tee. And sure, $699, you're going to see the price that I paid for it, and you'll be like, Justin, you lost all this money. Don't worry, I made it up on some other deals, so it's all good. And plus, I'm getting to know all these people at the auction, so it's like selling to them at a discount and then getting another one and win, lose. It's all good. It's all good. Making friends with these people. Neo Geo went for $175. My Golden Tee sold for $300. And I was bidding against the person. You can do this. I was doing the buyback, right? So it only went for like, Golden Tee was like at $100. And so I was like 150, and the other person's like 200, then 250, then 300. Once it hit 300, I was like, I was good. This auction was spectacular. I've gone to many auctions before. There's me in the reflection. And this candy cane is something that we've really wanted to get at this size, something you can fit in an SUV. No big deal. Take it to, sell it to a friend down the line, whatever. Don't need a big truck. I assumed that this would go for $1,000. And that's what they usually go for. A candy cane like that, $800, $1,000. I've seen $1,200. So there's this guy at the auction that I've seen several times. He's a fan of the show. He's in the home arcade community. He had to leave. His kid had a thing, right? And so I'd been chatting with him, and I was like, dude, let's just exchange numbers. I'll bid for you, because he really wanted this candy cane, this candy machine, right? This candy crane machine. I was like, I'll be your proxy bidder. He's like, cool. He gives me his card, his bidder card. And we go there, and I said, what's your top number? He said, $700. I was like, are you sure you want to go to $700? I don't think you're going to get it. I do not think you're going to get this machine at $700. And the reason why is because, again, every single time I've ever seen candy cranes like that, they go for way more than $700. But I was like, keep in mind, if that's all you can afford, that's it. But he's like, no, $800. I was like, no, don't go to $800. Like, keep in mind, there's still tax, right? There's still the buyer's fee. He goes, oh, right. Okay, $700. So he hands me the card. So then I'm hanging out there during the auction. I started chatting with some other people there, and the auction's going on. We're having this long conversation, we're talking about this, we're talking about home arcade, all of this. Basically, the conversation we're having right now in the show, I'm having with people right there. What do you own? Full size, small, you do home arcade, right? And I found a lot of people pretty diverse and own a lot of diverse things. We'll talk about why in a second. And so all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, they're probably around the corner. I should run over to the candy crane. And sure enough, I run around the corner. And here it is. This guy is almost done. They're almost done with the auction. And he's like, can I hear 400? Can I hear 400? Can I hear 400? Can I hear 400? I come in, I'm like, 400, right? And he looks at the other guy. He's out. He's like, 450. Can I hear 450? Can I hear 450? Can I hear? Sold it to you away for $400. And then I got to text that dude. I'm like, dude, we got it. We got the candy crane for $400. So I take a little bit of credit on this win, although this is not the one that I got, or I didn't officially buy this. But I was a proxy bidder, and I was able to come in way under, instead of $700, got this for $400. What a deal. Super exciting. And I just definitely wanted to share that with you. So let's go through some of the other units they had. Some of these things went for super cheap. This Atari machine. So the Atari machine had like an LCD in it, but it's laying down. That chair went for $40, by the way. I go around. Here's this Atari machine. We're kind of checking it out. I'm FaceTiming with Stringer Films, and he's telling me this deal or that deal. I was trying to message other people, but they'd never get back to me. But Stringer was around. And so that one went for like under $100, that Atari. This particular one went for, I think, $10. I don't remember the basketball. Here we go. This Atari and Stringer. Dude, Stringer was like, Justin, please buy the Atari cockpit. He was going through the whole thing. He's like, look, there's a Raspberry Pi image you could get that has like all the Atari games. It's like perfect for that machine. Just get it, just get it, just get it. And I'm like, no, man. No, I'm not going to get it. He's like, it's probably going to go for like $300. You should definitely buy it for $300. I didn't buy it. It went for $35. $35. This Atari Project Machine, $35. These deals were insane. Yeah, pole position, sit down, needs a little work. $35. Again, I could not believe some of these prices. Okay, so we come over here. Everything that didn't work went for like under $100. This Superman, but it's in like a Xevious machine, kind of. Was really cool. But no. A couple $100, $300-$400 I think it went for. These, a lot of people, I didn't think these were working. These were like Omega something. Omega Race? Yeah, Omega Race. There's two of them. And these are already on Facebook Market. Space Invaders, $300-$400 I think it went for. This Frogger, I don't really know. I don't really know how much it went for. It needed some work, for sure. We have another machine, Street Fighter, I was interested in, but it kept on powering off. And then when they were auctioning on it, they didn't even turn it on. So everything in this section of the video, it went for under $500, I want to say. And then towards the end, the big ones, the ones that went for a lot of money, was this the Turtles in Time and Turtles in Time and The Simpsons. $1,600 I think it went up to. And so here it is. We're taking a look at some of the pictures they have here. This is the RoboCop. And the RoboCop, $800. Now, I'll tell you the story as we go through these pictures of this bar. So, I kept on seeing the same person just buying up all the RoboCop. They wanted Simpsons. They were bidding on Street Fighter. They were bidding on Neo Geo. You know, all the real big ones. They were bidding on. I think some of these, basically, if it was in working condition and it was close, like didn't need a lot of work, they won. And so I saw this guy walk up to the girl that was doing all the bidding. She's like, yes, yes. Oh, they had this Roy Clark pinball machine as well. I think this went for $500. Stringer was trying to get me to buy it, but I didn't buy it. Anyway, so this girl, she's oh, we gotta talk about this. We'll come back to the girl. They had this Nintendo 10th there, and I was thinking about bidding on this one, but I didn't end up bidding on it because it went pretty high. Then they had this this Golden Tee machine that went for above $1,000. Yeah, it went for like under $1,000. Hey, we're gonna take a break on the video just real quick because it looks like I'm having some issues streaming. I've seen this once before, and I'll disappear just for a second, and I'll be right back. So you're watching on the replay. Just wait a second. And I'm back. Hopefully that fixed it. I've seen it one other time where it did that, and I wanted to make sure you had a pretty good experience with this content. Sometimes you can't really control if there's issues with the system. So here we are. We're back. Hopefully that was good. Everyone can hear me again, and hopefully the video is not distorted again. Let's see. So we have the Golden Tee. I want to say the word 1300 was said. But I think it only went for like $1,100. That one went for $100. This Fast and the Furious machine. Man, that would be cool to own. Really cool. Really cool to own. All right, I didn't get the price of the baby pack. It was so packed in there. I couldn't get around to hear, to see. I was trying to. I really want to know how much that baby pack went for. Okay, so they had an X-Men versus Street Fighter Crisis Zone. Now, keep in mind, remember what we said earlier? That my Golden Tee, that's our top number. The Golden Tee went for $300. Okay? Let's see. Joe is here. What's up, Joe? Joe is there, right? You remember the Golden Tee, the red tint went for $850. The Golden Tee was not $140. Oh, you mean like $1,400, right? Yeah, Joe was there. We were chatting. Okay, so let's continue on here. So this is, I zoomed in too much on this. So it's $100, right? Yeah, Fast and Furious was $100. This X-Men versus Street Fighter, which, it didn't turn on, so we don't know. But it was, I almost wanted it. It was $100. Let me back up and you can see. See that one on the right? $100 for that X-Men versus Street Fighter. Yeah, Joe is saying $1,400. Yeah, Joe is there. We're gonna show what you bought in just a second. I think you got a pretty good deal. So this is the X-Men versus Street Fighter. This one went for $100. Let's see what we have next. Yeah, so that Crisis Zone, is that the Crisis Zone? $100. And then the Extreme Hunting, $200. Keep in mind, all those three machines, all three of those machines went for less than the Arcade1UP Golden Tee for $300. I'm just saying, right? Okay, so this was my machine. Everyone in the chat, now I've kind of primed you, right? I've primed you. I've given you all these low numbers, right? So this is a cocktail table that I brought. How much do you think it went for? Can you guess how much in the live chat? And those are on the replay. You'll get this in just a second. This cocktail cabinet, we just went through all these prices, right? How much? I want to see your answers in the live chat of how much you think that this cocktail sold for. While we're waiting for that, we got the console can boy should have went there with me and spent $1,000. Doll hair, he owes me on stuff. Okay, so we got Paul with $800, Clax $250, Nooner with $200 to $250, Pimpstar was $425, Chris $350, Bill $200. Let's see. Is it in first state? So, let's see. So this cocktail, it looks good, right? It's got an LCD in it. and it's got a 60-in-1. Now, those in the chat, you tell me, what do you think would go for more? A 60-in-1 machine or an original PCB? Let me put it this way. What about an LCD with a 60-in-1 in it? The answer surprised me. So here's two scenarios. Mine is an LCD with a 60-in-1. How much do you think it went for? Another scenario is another cocktail table, similar condition, except for, I think it would have had an original board in it, but it's got a CRT in it. Okay, so let's see. Answer's going to surprise you. We got some numbers here. So ready to reveal. This guy, $1,025. That's how much this cocktail went for. And I think the reason why is that LCD looked bright and tight. The game looked brighter, right? There was a lot of people that were looking at this particular unit because I think it stood out. It just stood out as something that looked really good. And the other one that I'm describing, hold on. The other one that I'm describing went for $600. So again, I win some, I lose some. That one I got significantly less. I held on to it. So Curtis saying working, 800 speed up chip higher. Again, the one I had was working, LCD, 60-in-1, clean condition, just some scratches on the glass on the top. 1025. It's really weird world we live in where some things go for higher, some things go for lower. This next part, let's see how I'll do this. I want to show you, it's about a 1-minute clip with audio. This is live, I filmed it. This is the red tint going for an auction, okay? So let me play this part full screen. I guess I can be on top of it over here. So we'll take this off. Listen up closely. So this is the red tint auction. Let's go. Okay, so he's starting out at $100. We got 50, 150. He's like, we're selling the red tint. 175, 200, 2 and a quarter, 300, 325, 450, 500. Here it goes. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. 500. Now we're at 500. Right here, 550, 600, 600, 700. 700. I'm sitting here and I'm filming. I'm like, no way this red tint is going for under $1,000 because a lot of times I see it for like $1,000. 700. 750. We go 800. Yes or no? 800. 800. So if you search 750, buyer 244. 750. 750 is what the red tint went for. $750. There it is. And I have to throw this in here because what you're seeing right now was within minutes of the auction closing. I went to Facebook Market and there it is. The same red tint is already for sale. For $2,200. Come on. Yes. Yeah. Hold on. Is that the same red tint? No. Maybe. The one that I'm showing right now, I didn't want to show his name. I think this one is now selling in Kansas City. It's KS. KS? Kansas City? No. Yeah. Kansas City, I want to say. I'm trying to remember if that's what I saw. But maybe it was in Sioux City. Maybe the guy that sold it was in Sioux City and sold it here for $750, and now he's flipping it. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting. Red tint with balloon fight on both sides. One side was working pretty good. The other side was the CRT was kind of flickering. But like immediately, the guy's just like flipping it. But that's what people do, you know? Maybe he's going to work on it. I don't know. To each his own, right? Anyway, so that is the red tint story. I wanted one. I've always wanted one. Yeah, I missed out. Justin missed out. I don't know. The balloon fight was just not my jam, and then I was thinking what would I want to put on it, and then I'm trying to think. I have this deal with my wife. I'm like at like 20 arcades at this point, including home arcade, and I gotta talk about this. Hold on, we'll talk about the other thing in just a second. I wanted this. Joe and I in the chat was talking about this. Joe was physically there at the auction. We're hanging out, and both of us had our eye on this one, and it was unique. It stood out. It's just got a 16-1, but it looks great, right? And how much do you think? Have you guys seen these before? And if you have, how much do they usually go for? This Donkey Kong in a barrel, how much have you seen them go for? I'd love to hear what you say. Yeah, Goonies would be really good. Not for how much it sold for, but how much do you usually see these DK barrel arcades go for? And I'll tell you what I've seen before and what Joe and I kind of talked about. So Visage says $1,500. Danny says, I think about $2,500. And so that's the number I was thinking, like $2,000 I've seen, $1,800. See, aren't these usually $1,500? No, $2,500. It went for $45. It's only worth $45. That's it. Let's see. Random one says $1,200 in California or Canada. Maybe because it's, I guess I wouldn't know. Maybe Canada, you'd say CAN. So maybe you say California. Let's see. Typical go between $1,500 and $2,000. Yeah, Nooner's got it. Nooner's got that range. That's a pretty good range. And so, let's see. I don't remember off the top of my head what it went for, but I think the next image that I put on here in this video is shows the price. It is zoom in on the price. That's right, MG. There it is. So $1,500. It went for $1,500. And it was a little too rich for my blood. Once I saw it go, I mean, I was hoping for like $500. Like, for some reason, people are like, that's a 60-1. So this was the deal that Joe got. And he had told me a story how he got another Pac-Man recently, and he kind of got stuck with the whole, he owns a lot of full-size arcades and home arcades. He kind of has a mixture of both. And he's kind of looking into collecting more full-size arcades. And this one, it did look really good. It was a Miss Pac-Man in great shape. It shows it kind of dirty there, but like it's just dust or something. And like when it was actually playing, it looked great. This picture must have been before they had it on and it was cleaned up. This was something that I was eyeing as well. And it went for $1,000. And it's got a 16-1 in it, but it's got the trackball and it's got the 3 buttons and a nice joystick. You're pretty much ready to go. You're ready to go. $1,000, super fair for that price. I wouldn't pay $1,500 for it, but $1,000, yeah. I've seen Miss Pac-Man go for about that. But then it's got the 16-1 in it, and that's not too bad for that type of machine. And that's one of the things that I was looking at. Like I own a couple 16-1 things, but I would love to have it like in a Pac-Man Galaga or a Miss Pac-Man like that. So this little pinball machine went for, I think it's $325. Sorry I didn't get the name of this particular one. I think that was like Totem. This is that $600 cocktail. A little bit more scratched up, but it has a CRT in it, but needs a little work on the CRT, maybe recapped. Needs some brightness adjustment. There's some discoloration problems. Maybe that's why it went for only $600. But again, an LCD. So you have an LCD in it. There we go. Those are my machines. $110 for the Galaga. Again, some people were saying they would have paid more if they would have known it was Jammer ready. But I didn't say anything. I could have. I was about to shout out Jammer ready, but I didn't. Whatever. I don't care. Someone got a good deal. $320, $310 maybe for that Tempest. About $300. I think it's like $300. Let's see. How much did this one go for? $425. I misstated. Here we go. Burger Time. Sorry. Burger Time went for $100. And I think I have those other machines there as well. I better. Now I'm wondering if I, for some reason, did not include those Arcade1UP prices. I'm literally going to my Google Drive right now. Oh, there it is. There it is. I do have it. There we go. So the prices are for these other Arcade1UPs. These are not mine. These are not my Arcade1UPs. Someone else brought those. So Frogger went for $125. Now, let me be very clear with you guys. What am I trying to do? The prices for the Arcade1UP cabinets at this auction were so low. I was thinking about buying, not just selling the cabs. I was like, maybe I should buy Frogger, right? I mean, Burger Time, I was standing next to a guy, I think he was bidding on it, so he's a nice guy, and so I was like, I'm not going to bid against him. And that happens a lot. You'll see that. So $125 for the Frogger, but not only is it Frogger, it came with the Frogger stool. Yeah, see, MG? I mean, come on, would you buy Frogger for $125? Anyway, this Street Fighter Big Blue, which was the same as the one I had, but it did come with the Street Fighter stool. I did not bring my stool. I kept my stool. I'm going to give my stool to Bob. Just got to ship it to him. RetroRGB Bob. $140 with a stool is what this Big Blue went for. We got $90 for him as Pac-Man. And I chatted with all the different people that were bidding on these machines, $100. There was few people around, and guess what they said? The reason why they didn't bid on it, few people around there, already own it. Already own it. So what I learned, and those, I don't know if my audience is like this, but at least when I've been chatting with people locally in Des Moines, the arcade scene, there's kind of a couple different views. I've chatted with a couple people that own majority Arcade1UP. They say how all the benefits are. It's small. This term I kept on hearing from multiple people that I've not heard from other people, even those in this chat. Let me know if you've ever heard this in our community, like this online community. Arcade1UPs are wife friendly. That was the new term. Not just one person said it, multiple people said it. So that was interesting. The other phrase that I heard from people is this one guy was talking about how he owns a ton of, this is a guy that I've seen at auctions tons of times. He's got barns full of full-size arcades, and he says in his attic, he has dozens of Arcade1UPs. He owns a real Ridge Racer, and right now he's thinking about buying a Ridge Racer for Arcade1UP because he can't pass up the $299 deal. And this I didn't know. He told me a deal I didn't know about. He said, check your Kohl's coupons that are coming in the mail. You can combine it with the $90. So he's waiting because he has like a few more days to decide. He's planning on getting Ridge Racer for $299 with the $90 cash back, but then he said like another 20% off or something. Or maybe it was $20 off. I'm not really sure, but he's like, yeah, you could apply this coupon. I was like, I didn't know about that. So I asked him, man, I wish I was filming. I wish I was like microphone. I can show you. Next time I'm going to do that. I was like, so why do you own a mixture of full-size arcades? He goes, oh, I'll tell you. I love my kids. I love them. This is what he said. I love my kids. And I want them to have a good and fun experience. I don't want them complaining about, the CRT went out. Oh, this happened to it doesn't have, I'm sorry that it doesn't have the right joystick yet. I still got to repair it. And he's like, I get them the home arcade and they just play. He's like, I can't really even get my kids to play the full-size arcades. It's almost like they're intimidated by it. It was a very interesting conversation. I'm not quoting, but it was paraphrasing there. And he was just like, yeah, the 1-ups are great. Like, you buy them. He's like, Ridge Racer. He's like, I would buy Ridge Racer 1-up even though I own the full-size version. And it's because the UI is so easy. The menus are so easy. He's like, I don't have to tell my kids anything. They just turn it on, and they already know how it works. I don't have to go over there and babysit them. And he's like, I own a ton of 1-ups, and he goes, I enjoy playing them a lot, and it's fine. But, he also is a collector of the full-size arcades, also does servicing, so it's like this hobby. And I was chatting with some other people, and I was getting their take on it, and it was funny. There was no one, I was expecting people to be like, oh, the 1-ups, they're horrible. Oh my God, I would never buy a 1-up. Can you believe it? Like, you would own a 1-up? No. That's not what I got. They were like, they're pretty cool. And they were like talking about, especially if you can get them for $300. $300 was like this common, like if you can get them for $300, it's like a really good deal. And a ton of them had never seen the XL cabinet that was there. And I was chatting with them and I was like, hey, had you seen the cabinet at the end, the golden T? And they're like, yeah, is that the new one? The bigger one? Because they didn't know all the terminology. And they call them 1-up machines. Almost everyone that I chatted to, they're like, you mean the 1-up machines? They didn't say Arcade 1-up. So you're talking to someone that's like maybe not 100% into our community when they just call them the 1-up machines. I was like, yeah, that's their newer ones. And he's like, is that the one you can only buy from the site? And I was like, no. Golden Tee you can get like in a lot of different places. You can get it at Kohl's. I'm pretty sure you can get it at Kohl's. But it wasn't exclusive to the website. Maybe he was thinking of KI Pro. But it was really exciting. And again, when I started this video, I wanted to talk about, kind of tie it together where it's like, definitely these things can coexist. And, I'm really enjoying this hobby, right? Especially now I'm expanding my hobby to people locally. I'm exchanging text messages with a couple people that I've met at the auction. We're talking about one of them who showed me pictures of his arcade. We're thinking about doing an arcade tour, but I would actually go to his house and film it and then do one of those game tour shows that I do on Wednesday, but I was physically there. And he showed me pictures, and it's even different than what a lot of people have seen. He's got some really cool setup. He showed me some things that I've never heard or seen in any of the game tour shows that I've done on Wednesday. A lot of things that he hangs up on the wall that are flashy that I want to buy. I totally want to buy. Very cool. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let me get your view on the idea of full-size arcades versus home arcade. Be kind, polite, but do you own both? Are you thinking of buying one or the other? Do they coexist? Are you going to stay in one lane? Are you going to share the other lane with other people? What about the attitudes? And if you have any questions or just have some, want to have a discussion and conversation, we'll leave the second half of the show for that. And I'd love to hear what you got to say. So we got How to Bachelor with the Arcade1UP are bachelor friendly. There we go. They're bachelor friendly. Very cool. Let's see. General comments in the chat. Let's see where I left up. He says, there's a Ms. Pac-Man near me. I got to track the guy down and what he wants for it. There you go. And what I've also learned, a lot of people in the Facebook market, when you see, you're on your phone, you see Facebook market, and you see a price, nothing wrong with reaching out to them and negotiating. They want $1,500 for something that you think is only worth $900. Say $900. I'd be willing to buy this for $900. Worst thing they'll say is no. Worst thing they'll say is get out of here with all that. And then other times they'll be like, okay, maybe I'll do it. I've heard that. Stringer told me that secret. Stringer Films, he's bought a couple dozen machines. He's always negotiating with people. Let's see. You guys are all really awesome. I wish you all the best Christmas ever. Let's see. That Ms. Pac-Man has been hacked up. Yeah. Talking about the 16-1 from earlier. Joe says it's going to get a Pandora's box and maybe a launch box setup. We'll see. Any thoughts between both? What do you guys think of the Pandora's box versus launch box on something like a multi-machine, a multi-arcade, like the Ms. Pac-Man that Joe picked up? JJ says, wow, these people have no clue on fair value of arcades. I guess it's true. Iowa stands for idiots out wandering around. I don't know. So these auctions, I've been to several of them, and a lot of them go for, I don't know, if the cat, here's what I think in this particular scene in Des Moines. If it needs work, it's going to go for cheap. If it's basically ready to go and polished, it goes for high value. And so it's somewhere like the slope for that goes really high, right? It's like you're going to get it really cheap, and then the closer it is to higher quality, then the price goes up. So I saw, for example, a timber machine at a previous auction was brand new. LCD, but looked like a nice timber, had an original PCB in it that allowed you to go between the different ROM chips of Tapper and Timber, but it looked like a Timber with an LCD. Brand new. $1,800. Meanwhile, there's another machine next to it that was a 16-1 LCD inside a Nintendo cabinet, $400. And it was like, how far away from the original is it? And does it look clean? If it looks clean, it'll go for more. If it needs work, you're going to get a deal. And then there's another situation where, say, like the Turtles cabinet. We can take a look at that picture. The Turtles cabinet, it's somewhere in here. Let me see. Oh, let's see. There's a few more we have here. There's that Superman. Man, I was thinking about it, but it's not original Superman. I don't think I'm going to switch that one back to the original. So it looked nice, but no, the colors kind of matched that background for Superman, but it's not an original Superman. Yeah, so some of these, let's see if I can take a look at it. Yeah, the dirtier it was, the more work it needs, the cheaper the price. So I think that's pretty fair, actually. But here's the deal. There's another element to all this. You could have something that was pristine and looked very pristine, except it's really big. And so there's this idea that there's all these people that are traveling from across the Midwest. I mean, we had people from various states. And if it was a big machine that you had to haul back, then that machine went for cheap. Because I think a ton of people are like, well, I don't, you know, it's really big, you know, and there's a certain, like, I'll give you an example here. I'm zooming in on some pictures here from my iCloud, where I took the pictures, and like this Extreme Hunting is in great shape. It looks great, but it's a big machine. $200. So it's like the larger it is, the bigger it is. And maybe it's more of an obscure title thing as well. Like, do you want Extreme Hunting 2 from Sega? Is that your idea of a machine? Let's see, some other ones that I was thinking of. There was a Crisis Zone, but it didn't work. It's really big, $100. You want to repair a Crisis Zone? It's only going to cost you $100. This one was really interesting. The $100 for the X-Men versus Street Fighter. I mean, I was sitting there. The only thing that was weird about it, well, first of all, I don't think it had a PCB. It wasn't plugged in. It may have had a PCB. I guess it didn't look. I should have. But it had this weird control panel. You know, it was like a 4-player control panel, but like only 2 players on it. It was like, so it was like really wide. But other than that, the shape of the cabinet was actually in really good condition. $100, you know, but you can't just take it home and plug it in and it works. So if you're into the hobby and into repairing, and you want to like buy something that you need to restore, like, you definitely can get some deals at these auctions. And so I look forward to the next ones coming in March. I'm going to bring a couple more of my cabinets. I'm going to be doing a little bit of consolidation. I want to buy some more pinball machines. I mean, my goal is to have 3 pinball machines in the next year. So it'll be Star Wars Episode 1, the Pinball 2000. Been looking at for a while, and if you've been following me for a while, I did get one, or found one. I have it reserved. The guy's going to sell it to me soon. Then the Revenge from Mars pinball machine. Got that one coming as well from the same guy. Then I'm on the lookout, and literally while I was there, and I was asking people, Jurassic Pinball, do you have a Jurassic Pinball? I was asking. There's a guy, Pinball, Iowa Pinball. He's like, no, I don't have one. There was a guy, Jason, who owns an arcade in Grimes. He has one, but he won't sell it to me. And he has a Godzilla limited edition that he's never opened. It's still in box. And he's like, I haven't had time. And I'm like, geez. And he owns a pinball place. Like, open it up. Let me go over and play your limited edition, man. Like, in town, all the Godzillas that are in town, they're pro models, right? They're not. I want to come over and play your limited edition Godzilla, Jason. Come on, let the world have it. And I was almost going to ask him how much for it, but I'm sure it'd be like 15 grand or 20 grand. I don't know how much the Godzilla limited edition is, but I know it's a lot. New in box, not open. Man. So anyway, I really want the Jurassic Park Stern. I heard from someone in the know that Jurassic Park Stern may be coming out again this next year, another run of them, and then they won't be overpriced. Hopefully, I want to get that, and then some consolidations on some of the arcades. So this is what I was thinking. I didn't buy anything at this auction, by the way, nothing. I only sold. So I sold the cocktail for $10.25. I did the Galaga mod. They got a deal on that. It was like $110, $70 for Big Blue, and then $300 for the golden tee. I'm all good. Some of those prices are low. That's fine. I saw the people that were buying them. They got kids. I'm all good. It's fine. But I was thinking, I want a mixture of home arcade, full-size arcade, depending on what it can do for me. What value is it adding me? So that's a different mindset. So the online play for Blitz, if my friends are true and they're like gonna play with me, then we'll see how much value those last out of it. So I did get the Blitz because tons of people online were like, I want to play with you, and so the idea of playing with them seemed entertaining, and so that would be fun. Then some of the machines like that I'll never own that are full size, like the Star Wars, and then if they come with a replica one, I've looked at the Star Wars in my areas, $3,000 to $6,000. It's just too much for me. So I'll stick with the 1UP on those machines. So I own a Road Blaster, so I was thinking about what type of driving cab. This is my new thing. I've been like writing down, take each cabinet, whether I want it in Arcade1UP form or full-size form, in the type of cabinet it is. So a racing machine, right? So I own a Road Blaster's full-size, but I own a Ridge Racer Arcade1UP, and I'm pretty happy with that combination. And I was like, would there be anything better that I would want? Well, I wouldn't care about buying a Ridge Racer full-size, but I don't mind spending the $300 on the Arcade1UP. It has value to me. Crazy Taxi. If I can get Crazy Taxi, I would buy that. I would probably spend $700 on a Crazy Taxi, and I think I could get maybe that in a full-size machine. I would love to get a stand-up Crazy Taxi, and I would love it. It would be that form factor, and I would love it. I already have, I was like, okay, something with a flight stick. Okay, I already have the Star Wars Sega trilogy that I own, and I just need to go pick it up in Kansas City or get that guy to bring it to me. So that would be my flight stick machine. And then pinball machine, I was telling my wife, like, again, 3 pinball machines. I'm not interested in virtual pinball anymore. I think if I get 3 real pins, I would sell my Legends pinball machine at the next auction. And maybe the Star Wars Arcade1UP. I don't know, because see, the Star Wars Arcade1UP, I haven't done it yet, but you can sideload all 30 games onto it. And so maybe that would be fun, and friends come over, and my daughter loves it. So maybe I would keep that one, but my daughter hates the Legends pinball machine. She just doesn't like it. So whatever. Yeah, if she doesn't, I'm not going to force her to like something. Let's see. Random question. Do you still like your Yoga Flame? Yes. So if you look at I no longer have the big blue here because I sold at the auction. The Yoga Flame, why is that on a fade? That's kind of cool. The Yoga Flame, yeah, I think it's the better of the two. And that's why I was like, let me give one of them up. And so the Yoga Flame, I love the height of it. You stand in front of it. It's super comfortable to play. The shape of it looks really good. The marquee is awesome. And so it's a great machine. And I've been thinking previously at the previous auction, I was looking for a Street Fighter, and there was a Street Fighter. And I think if that Street Fighter was that was available, at this auction, wherever it's at, if that machine was available at the last auction, maybe I would have bought it. And maybe that's changed because I have the Yoga Flame. I don't know, but literally I was there, and I don't know, maybe because it needed work. I'm not really sure, but I wasn't sure if I wanted a full size Street Fighter. Yeah, it was really interesting. VIP Outlet, it has a Sam's Club exclusive Pac-Man Cabaret wood cab for $269 free shipped. Is in an odd looking cab and looks low production. Just ordered it. Has a nice tilted monitor and light up J. Yeah, so I've seen that machine. That's one of the machines I have the original of. I think I got it for like $950, I want to say. Yeah. So it's a Ms. Pac-Man Cabaret. It looks just like that Arcade1UP. Pretty close to the Arcade1UP. And on that machine, I mean, if you compare that to the original Cabaret, you can definitely see the differences. And if you wanted to close that gap, it's just like the way the stickers that are on it, like it has a. But I've seen people that want to modify that Arcade1UP Pac-Man Cabaret and kind of make it look like the original, and it didn't look too hard to do. But I've also seen some other people saying they like it exactly the way it is, and that's cool too. Let's see. How to Bachelor says, isn't Road Blasters your daughter's now? Pretty much being that she has the high score. That's fair. That's fair. I don't think I can get rid of that now. I need to catch up on the chat. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, that Pac Cabaret looks pretty darn good. Yeah, it didn't take off. It didn't look like it had wide distribution, so it has a pretty small distribution. Let's see what else we have in the chat. Let's see. Uber says, I always wanted to get the Lethal Weapon 3 pinball. Love it to no end. Crazer Climber would be great. I would love to get the Legends pinball on the cheap. I don't know. How far away are you, JJ? Be open to that. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of people that love it, and that's cool. I'd keep the ALU and sell the Star Wars. Woo! Wow. Listen to that. All right. Get cool toy to pick it up and get. You can bring all the wrong. What? Come on. Let's see. I'm in Kansas City. You can store the Star Wars at my house. That's funny. You can always buy a reproduction Star Wars. Ooh, where do they sell those? A reproduction Atari Star Wars cabinet? Okay, I'll take a look at that. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. When is your Star Wars coming? I want to see a review. I don't know. So honestly, I went out to lunch with a couple friends today, and I was talking about I was thinking about buying a truck. Like, it's upsetting me that much. Trade in my SUV for a truck, and then drive to Kansas City and pick up the Star Wars, and then drive it back and be like, there we go. I have a truck now. And so this is the realization that I had. So yesterday when I went to this auction, I had to get a U-Haul. It cost $80 for the U-Haul, $10 in gas, so $90. And the problem is, the more miles that I put on, the more they're going to charge, and the more gas it's going to take. And I didn't have to go very far. And so I was under that $100 budget. Keep in mind, like, you rent a U-Haul, you're cutting into the budget for spending on arcades. And I cashed out $2,500 from the ATM. I didn't end up spending anything. And ended up making $1,000, a little more than $1,000. I don't know, $1,300, $1,400 maybe. I still got to get that money from them. And so they're supposed to call me today, but they didn't. So I'm going to call them tomorrow. Because I left early. There was a huge line. And they're like, if there's anyone that just sold but didn't buy, we can connect with you tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I started thinking, some of these deals in my area that I've seen that had items that I desperately want were in Illinois or Nebraska, but not Iowa. Some of the cabinets that I really, really want. And so I've seen them come and go. There's been a couple kiosk machines. There's a Nintendo kiosk machine that was available. Maybe I could have got it for like $1,500. I would love to get the Nintendo kiosk. Have you guys seen that? Like the original NES home arcade kiosk-y thing. Did anyone see that on, I think it was on Facebook Market. And I really wanted to get it, and I couldn't. And so let me show you a screen of it. And it's because I don't have a truck. This is it. I'm done. Like, I got to get a truck. But then it's like going in. I don't need a truck for anything else than this hobby. So anyway, so here it is. This is what I'm talking about. So this Pro Play home arcade was available within a day's drive. And there was a time, yeah, don't worry. If I come to Illinois, I'll reach out to you, Bob. It was available. Maybe it was Nebraska. I can't remember. I saved it on the Facebook Market, and I've looked into shipping, and it was the case that a couple of years ago I called some shipping companies, and shipping was like $100, $200. And then recently, kind of post-COVID or whatever term we're in right now, I wanted to ship something very small, and they quoted me $800. And so, when you go buy an arcade for $1,000 and the shipping's like $800, I mean, that's too much. It's too much. I don't want to waste money. I want to be smart with my money. I want the money that I spend in this hobby to be a deal from Arcade1Up, like $2.99, $3.99 if it's really good cabinet. If it gives me value because I get to play with people online in the community. I don't like playing fighters online. I'm not very good. But a game like a beat 'em up, I had fun with Simpsons. We'll do another Simpsons night. Hit one in the chat if you want to play some Simpsons after this show. Let's play some Simpsons together. I'll go on Simpsons Online. We'll do a playthrough. I had a lot of fun that. We did that like 2 weeks ago. It was really cool. If you own a Simpsons, let's do it. The beat 'em ups or a game like Blitz, where it's like, I don't know, it's different than a fighting game, right? Like, that sounds like fun. Cabinets that you can't get otherwise. Tempest is super expensive. It looks like I have a Tempest behind me, but I don't. And that's okay. Let's see. Star Wars, that would be really cool. Let's see. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's play some Simpsons afterwards. So, a couple things. Let's see. Does anyone... let's see. The shipping costs can take some of the joy out of Great Deal. Yeah, see what I mean? DB says, I'm in Omaha and have a truck. Maybe we can work something out. There we go. I'll just pay you to deliver things to me. You should stream Simpsons. I've never seen you stream a game before. Yeah, I'm too lazy to stream games. It's like a whole setup. It's a whole setup. I guess I could. My other room is just not set up for streaming, and here, whatever. If you want me to stream games, maybe I will. I'll invest some time into it. I don't like to count. I guess I could right now. So I have... No, I'm not good at counting. So in my garage, I need a reference. So I'm going to forget something. So I have a Road Blasters. I have a Neo Geo. I have a Multi-Williams. I have another Neo Geo that's actually a Multi-Williams, or a Williams cabinet that I'm going to convert into another Multi-Williams with the JREC board I have. It's 4. Zaxxon. That one I'm keeping. I love. Play Choice. 2 Cabarets. So 5, 6, 7. Okay, then I have a couple project boards. So I'm at 7 working machines, full size. And then it's like a racer project. I've already lost count. So was that 7, 8? Does that count? Does it have to be fully working to count? I had the cocktail, but I sold that. And then when it comes to 2 Cabarets, Play Choice. So let's be conservative. So 7 o'clock. So 7 full-size arcades. Is that right? Did I count Road Blasters? Road Blasters. See, I need to literally go and count them, and then be like, have a spreadsheet and be like, this is how many. You know what? It's like how many consoles do I own? I don't know. I don't know how many consoles I own. It's like I have a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo. Wait a second. I actually have 30 Nintendos. Okay, Super Nintendo, I have 1. No, actually, I have 7 Super Nintendos, maybe. I'd have to go on the shelf and look, because I collect a lot of these things, and I don't know. I don't keep inventory. Should I keep inventory? Is it wrong? I have 11. It's not 11. I have 11. What are you doing? Make it a range. 1 to 10. Oh. Yeah, then it's 1 to 10 full-size arcades and 1 to 10 home arcades. Something like that. It's like 20 machines. And my wife thinks I want to go for 30, but I told her tonight I'm actually thinking of trying to narrow them down. Is what I'm thinking of doing. Anyway, so get a car, get a truck. There's some deals out there. I think I can haggle with some online and get machines that I tell my wife they're keepers. I only want to buy keepers now. Ones that I like. And so this is what I was thinking. I want a mixture of cabinets that are home arcade and full-size arcade and pinball. Among the pinball, everyone's different. I looked into VPin, 4K, HDR. It's a lot of money. They look amazing. I deep down watched a ton of videos on it. Haven't played one in person. $9,000 or something like that for just this amazing setup and something in between. But in my head, here's my problem with it. And if you own a virtual pinball and spent that type of numbers on it, great. I'm not saying anything against your decisions. For me, I started looking at how much the virtual pinballs go for a year or two later, and they're less. And one of the companies, I think it's VPin. Is that right? VPin? They're on like their version 6 or version 7. But if you go to the version 5, they're like way cheaper. So it seems like they go down in price. And how many AtGames do you own? Legends Ultimate, Legends Pinball, the Mini. No, what's it called? The Legends Gamer Pro. Yeah, the Legends Gamer Pro. Or Legends Gamer Mini. Legends Gamer Mini. So 1, 2, 3. 3 AtGames. And then I own their Blast. Does that count too? Like 2 of their Blasts, I think. About an hour from Sioux Falls and 45 minutes from Sioux City. I've seen some machines, Sioux Falls area, Sioux City, into Illinois. Anyway, get a truck, can go get it. I was thinking about buying a Maverick. I think we've had this conversation on the show before. Like, when it comes to like, I don't want to overspend, if you will. Like, a couple of buddies of mine have big trucks. I've been thinking about getting like, okay, maybe I'll get a Colorado. Maybe I get a, what is the other one that's really nice? That Silverado, right? These big trucks, but they're like super expensive. And this one dude's like, dude, you should totally get a Rivet. I'm like, oh, okay. What, this is it, Rivet? I was like, oh, so you want me to spend $72,000 on a truck so that I can pick up arcades occasionally? Great. Okay, cool. I was like, no. So, like, for me, if I'm only gonna carry one machine at a time, then I only need something that can load like 300 to 500 pounds, but literally has a space, and I don't want to overspend. And I hate buying used. Yeah, it's a whole thing. My dad was a mechanic, and I don't know. I don't like buying used. Yeah, get it, Chevy Colorado. So I've seen those. They're sexy looking. Anyway, Silverado, Black Ops. I think someone bought all the cabs in Illinois. So anyway, I've been thinking about getting, I don't know, one thing that's on the list because a buddy of mine has it and I checked it out. It's the Ford Maverick. It's like $25,000 for a brand new one, and it's hybrid. It gets 40 to 50 miles per gallon. And in my vehicle, I take my daughter to dance every day, and I could use the cost saving on the gas. It's like the cheapest new vehicle I could find that I think I could trade my car in for and not have to spend much money. I'm like way over budgeting on this, like trying to like make it where no money comes out of my savings. I guess I could sell my car and then just buy a used car. I could do that. You guys are funny in the chat. Yes, Andrew was right. If you want to get some crazy deals on full-size arcades, just move to Ohio. It's not a joke. Every amazing deal that I've seen in the last 6 months on Facebook Market is in Ohio. It's crazy. Anyway, so those are we started out with this, went to this auction. I'm wrapping up here, but I realized I didn't have anything to drink. I want to tell, for those of you who are hanging out, I'd love for you to continue to hang out because I want to finish my story real quick. I'm really excited about this. Let me tell you a couple stories from the auction, okay? So the auction was in Valley West Mall in a very, very small area. And it used to be at Adventureland in a very much larger area. This compact area, it was like standing room only. It was packed. It was hot. People were complaining, but what could you do? So they said next time it's going to be in a much bigger area, come in March. So come out. If you live in the Midwest area, sometime March. Make your plans for an Iowa auction. It's going to be, I think, still at the Valley West Mall, but just like in a much bigger area. The people that bought the most amount of arcades, this is what happened. I started noticing this lady, which there weren't very many women there, period. So when you see a woman with a clipboard and a book where she's taking notes and she's constantly writing things down as there's prices, I started noticing. And she was standing next to me, so I noticed that. So I'm sitting there, she's just bidding on everything that's great. Everything in my head that I'm like, that's a great cabinet. Like, I want to bid on it. Like, I don't know when in March. I'll make a Facebook post about it when it becomes available. Anyway, so every okay, so this girl, everything that's great, RoboCop, Street Fighter, Simpsons, that Neo Geo, you know, everything that was like a very popular title that would look good in an arcade, whether home or otherwise. She won. She was just like winning all of them. And so I thought she was by herself because there was like no one around her. And every single time she won, she'd write it down. She'd put the price down. She's like keeping track. Not a lot of people are doing that, actually. People are just like betting or whatever. She's like keeping track of everything. And there's this guy that's about her same age. Assume it's her husband. Starts talking to her. And then he kind of walks away, kind of like gives her space because she's like in this zone, right? And and she just said to him like, hey, we just got this. And he's like, oh, great. And then he kind of walks away. He's kind of leaning up against the wall. And I'm talking to some other guys, and I'm like, and we're like, what is she doing? Like, she's just like buying everything that's great. And I've done this many times where there's like, I want to know, and then I don't do anything. And then I was like, you know what? I'm asking. Like, I want to know. And so I walk up to the guy, and I'm like, hey, are you with her? And he looks at me all funny. And that's when I realized what came out of my mouth sounded like, I'm like, hey, so you guys together? That's not what I meant. So I said to him, he looked at me funny, and I'm like, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm just really interested in stories. And I see that you guys are buying a lot of stuff. I want to know why. Like, if you're willing to share with me, I'd love to know why you guys are buying so many cabinets. Is this for your house? Are you building out a basement arcade, or are you building a business? What is it? And he goes, oh, okay, I'll tell you. He goes, my wife had this really cool idea. She pitched to the city to open this, I think it was in Sioux City is where he said, or Sioux Falls, I can't remember now. We're opening this barcade. And so we got the grant. I assume that means the city gave them money, maybe, to kind of like get their business going. And he goes, so we're just buying everything that we need to get that open. And they said they're opening in March. I was like, that makes sense. I was like, that's why you're buying all these things. But good for them. And I saw like Jason, who's the owner of Old School Pinball Machine, who's now part owner of this auction. He was actually bidding on The Simpsons, and this lady was also bidding, and he looked back and he stopped bidding so she could get it. And then she went out, and then he came back in, and it started this whole thing where she's like, oh, I didn't know you were still in. He was like, no, I was letting you have it. But if you're not in, I'll take it. And so it was just kind of cool to see that. Like, here's a couple business owners that are just kind of like, you know, like, I'll buy it if you won't buy it, but if you want it, you can have it. There was no fights. There was no arguments. It was just a good time. Actually, a lot of people were being really kind to each other, despite the fact that we were all kind of like enclosed in this closed space. Yeah, so I had a really good time, and I didn't need to buy anything. I was so proud of myself. I know that sounds weird. I'm like focusing on me, but I want to say that to you because maybe you can you understand what I'm saying? Like, I held back from buying a whole bunch of stuff. I had cash in hand, $2,500. And early on, I knew that I sold a cocktail cabinet. So I had $1,000 of credit. And I see all these cabs go by for a cheap price. $5, $50, $100. Cab after cab after cab. And I said, I don't need it. I just enjoy this. And if it was the right cabinet, I would get it. And it was hard because I was sitting there. It was like a FOMO feeling that I was pushing away. Burger Time Arcade1UP cabinet with a stool, $100. I mean, who wouldn't do that? I had a U-Haul. I could have bought all those Arcade1UP cabinets for next to nothing. These are deals you can't get anywhere, full size. And I was like, I'm good. I'm content. These are not my deals today. They're other people's deals. Let them enjoy these deals. I was so happy with the turnout. I enjoyed the auction. It filled me up with joy. I didn't need, I mean, maybe because I sold. Yeah, I sold some, so that made me feel good. But I came to my wife and she was like, how many did you get? I was like, I didn't get any. She's like, you disappointed? I'm like, no, I had a great time. It was awesome. I was telling her all these stories and I'm like, I held back and it felt great. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And I don't need to buy things just because they're a great deal. Yeah. So long story short, did you get her number? Yeah, I got her number. No. Her name, so what I do remember is they're owners of an arcade called Warp Zone. So either Sioux Falls or Sioux City. Yeah, wherever the Warp Zone is, I'll definitely be following up in Iowa. I'm Google searching it right now just in case it's already kind of out there. I'm so excited. Here we go. The Warp Zone in Sioux City. Maybe it's Sioux City. Is it Sioux City? No, this company's been around for 2 years. I'll find it. I plan on going there and checking out. This is my goal. I want to get a video on my YouTube channel of those machines from this auction at that arcade in March. That's what I want to do. That sounds like fun content to me. And then chat with them. Maybe if they just open their arcade, if I can go there soon, I'll be like interview them. Be like, so tell me what you think about the entire. You got a grant and then share it right here for you guys to enjoy. Also, in my town of Johnston, Iowa, where I live, right, they're building a new downtown area, and it's a really cool downtown area, and it's a brand new arcade that's being built, and we've only recently found out about it, and it's called Pixels and Pins, I believe. It's like a bowling alley and an arcade, but definitely a mixture. All the pictures that I saw. My wife told me about it actually just like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know, I'm really excited about the city of, I talk a lot about how I live in Des Moines, and some people make fun of me. It's like, oh, you live in Iowa, it's like the horrible city. It's crazy. Like, yeah, I can't get great arcades in this city to buy. And the reason is because there's a ton of arcade places here. And when I buy, I'm competing with people that actually own businesses. There's like a dozen in Des Moines. There's like a dozen arcade places in Des Moines. It's insane. So here's a picture of the new one that's going to be like down the street from me. And so this is it. It's Pin and Pixels. Yeah, Back Pocket Pin and Pixel. It's opening soon. It's got food. It's like a bar. It's like a barcade-ish thing. This is like the drawing in it. And I drove by. It looks as cool as this. Like it's really coming out really good. It's really gonna make this kind of small city of it's just like northern Des Moines, just the north side of Des Moines of Johnston. Be really, really cool. So this is the inside of it, and then they have. I looked online about it, and they have a website. Let's see if I can find it real quick. This company has a website, and this is not their first place. Let me see if I can search for it. And so I was able to glean, they have one in another city. And they kind of explain like what type of arcade. And it's a retro arcade. Like what more could you ask for in in an arcade? So great. Oh my gosh, it just opened this weekend. This is crazy. Like, I'm looking at their Facebook page and it shows 23 hours ago. And here it is, Back Pocket Pen and Pixel. Thanks for braving the cold and come visit us tonight. Like, it's open. I could go there right now and live stream. So this maybe was yesterday. Yeah, this is, I think maybe they opened it. I don't know. So let's take a look. So coming soon. Oh, they say January. Maybe they're working on it. I don't know. Oh, maybe this is the next place. No, Johnston Town Center, January 2023. Check out these pictures, man. Let's see. Let's go full screen on this. That's like a little preview of... Is this the place? It's like a brewery. Anyway. Yeah. I'm excited. Look, they even got these pixel stuff. It's going to be available soon. I'll check it out. It's a brand new arcade. I'll film it. I'll bring it to you guys. I hope you enjoy that type of content as well. We have Pints and Pixels, hipster bar with retro arcades. That's what I'm talking about. Iowa's not that bad. I know someone that lives in Bettendorf, and she loves it out there. It's nice and clean. Yeah, it's super nice and clean there here in Iowa. Yeah, maybe it's a soft to open. I'll go check it out. So this is what I've been doing. There's a handful of places where it's a business, right? And I'm getting to know the owners. So, like, Jason is the owner of the Grimes pinball place. And I've chatted with him. I've talked to him enough at different arcades. He said he'd give me keys to his place if I wanted to film there. No problem. Let's see. The guy that owns the magazine, he also... like a retro... Why is it not coming to my head right now? So his name's Ryan Berger. He's in Grimes area. He owns, what is it? Old School Magazine? Like, I read it, and I don't even... But I never, like look at the cover and be like, oh, it's called this. He's in Grimes. I got to know him. He wanted me to come over to his house sometime and... film at his house. Old School Gamer Magazine is who I'm talking about. So he's in this area as well. Cool dude. Let's see, what else is there? I gotta close these tabs. One of them's playing audio. Let's see. Then we got Greg from over at the Operation Pinball. He's the guy that I'm buying pinball machines from. And he owns like 2 or 3 arcades in the area. I'm trying to get to know him a little bit better. I'd love to film at his arcades. He gave me permission. He's like, yeah, just call me sometime and we'll set something up. My brother knows the owner to Up Down downtown, so wanted to talk to him about, and he said, my brother texted him, he said I could come in when they're closed and do a whole bunch of filming. So I like that idea, like to do a series where I tour like arcades, but I get to know them and I do it when it's all closed. I have plenty of time to like capture each thing. Anyway, I think that would be a lot of fun. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this content, I know we started out like, I went to the auction and kind of ended kind of like in this slower mode, but I've been trying to practice that a little bit more. I noticed it's okay to have dead space, especially when it's worthy of it. When you're like, I am really excited about the future. I'm really excited about going to these different arcades here in Des Moines. It's okay to have a pause. I'm really excited about the auction coming in March because I will be there. Will you be there? If you live in the area, that would be kind of cool. I've got to meet a lot of people through that. I got to hear a lot of different stories. I got to hear different stories from a different side of perspective. It's not what I assumed. And I'm just here trying to share that back so that you can see the perspectives that I'm seeing by not being afraid to talk to people. See, growing up, I was the type of person that I didn't want to talk to anybody because I'm super nervous. You may think I'm outgoing. I'm actually an introvert. Did you know that? You're like, Justin's not an introvert, but keep in mind, right now, I'm by myself. I'm talking into a camera. What's more introverted than that? There's not a couple hundred people in the chat. I'm by myself talking to a camera. So when I challenge myself, when I'm in a large crowd to be like, I want to get to know you. I want to talk to you. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your story. It takes the focus away from me and allows me to learn about you. And then even the show that I'm doing right now, I'm trying not to focus on me because I'm an introvert and I don't want people looking at me. And instead, I'm sharing other people's stories with other people. And hopefully you enjoy that because it's the only thing that makes me not nervous. Anyway, those in the chat that can appreciate that have felt the same feelings, maybe you know what I'm talking about. So making content like this, there you go. Christo says, I'm an introvert, but sincerely polite. It helps. I was telling my daughter that, actually. She's struggling socially. She had all these feelings inside her that she's of worthlessness. And she said some things mean to her friends, and they kind of got really upset about it. And she was like, I don't even know how to talk to people. I don't know how to talk to people. And so I told her, I was like, it's real easy. Be curious. When you meet with someone and you don't know what to say, ask them how they are. But don't just ask them how they've been. Really ask them so that they elaborate. So be more pointed with your questions. What have you been doing lately that's you've been enjoying? What fun things have been going on? Get them to talk. The focus is away from you. And when they tell you whatever it is they're going to tell you, they're like, oh yeah, I went to my grandma's house and had a lot of fun. You then say, what did you do at your grandma's house? You basically get them to elaborate. You're basically like, elaborate. In your mind, you're like, get them to elaborate. When you show general interest in other people, they get to talk about themselves. And at some point in that conversation, just wait for it. In some point in that conversation, they will then say, and that doesn't always happen, and don't get upset if it doesn't happen. They will say, how about you? What have you been up to? And that is when you tell them what you've been up to. But always hold back and see if they want to inquire more, because you may list 2 or 3 things and then they get to pick what thing they're interested in and you can tell them about that. That's a better conversation than walking up to someone and say, I have to tell you something. Wait for it. Be patient. It's okay to have dead space. It's okay. And it really helps me. And so by focusing your attention on other people and being genuinely interested in their lives, you learn, you grow, and you grow bonds with other people. So I'm here at the auction applying the same thing. Asked a whole bunch of questions about Joe. And I remember thinking back, I walked away from Joe and I was like, there was a point where I interrupted Joe and started telling him something interesting. And I was like, I failed. I should have just been like, tell me more, Joe. Tell me more, Joe. Tell me more, Joe. Tell me more. Because I missed out on learning more about Joe. But I got some pieces. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me and my little talk. That's, I don't know, therapeutic for me. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you'd like to be a part of my fireside chat, email me at consulkits@gmail.com. I've been thinking about chatting, having real conversations with people in fireside chat, trying to set up some people down the line. Got a couple of people already booked for the next few episodes. If you have a great story to tell, I'd love to give you a platform to tell that story, especially as it relates to home arcade or gaming or retro, and you want some practice to be able to talk in front of people that will watch your videos. There you go. Anyway, thank you so much. I've been here too long. You guys have a wonderful next week. I hope that your next week is... my brain said bold and beautiful, but that's dumb. I'm not going to bold and beautiful. No, I hope your next week is bold and beautiful. That's dumb, Justin. No, I hope you have a great week. Comment down below, tell me how you've been doing, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the arcade auction. The episode of the arcade auction is now over. All right, see ya, Bob. See ya, JT. See ya, Ralphie. See ya, Andy. See ya, Carlos. See ya, Ralphie. See ya, MG. See ya, Pimp Star. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. See ya, Christo. And James. James hates everything. Okay. Let's see. A10. See ya, man. Have a good one. Alfred. Glad you stopped by. Clax29. See you guys. Okay, so now that all those guys are gone, no, I'm kidding. All right, see you guys. Take care.